We read in the Torah about this condition called tzara'as, which we translate as leprosy, but it's a little misleading. It's a skin condition, but it's not fatal. So maybe translating it as leprosy is not correct, but it's commonly accepted. So let's, for lack of a better term, let's just use that word. The Torah says, if a man finds blemishes on his skin, he has to go to the Kohen, and the Kohen has to determine whether it is in fact tzara'as, whether it is leprosy or not. It's a form of impurity. And the Torah says that this happens, these blemishes can occur on the house, on the walls of the house, or in leather garments, or the garments that you wear, or on your skin. What does this come from? What causes this? So we're told that it's caused by lashon hara, bad speech. Again, commonly we assume that that means speaking badly about people, gossiping. The punishment for gossiping, for lashon hara, is that you develop blemishes, either on the house or on your garments or on your skin. This leaves us with a very practical question. Rambam says, the Talmud says, think about what happened to Miriam. Miriam, Moshe's sister, said something critical of Moshe, and she was immediately struck with tsaras, with this leprosy. So you see how careful you have to be not to talk badly about people. The practical question is, if that's true, speaking badly of people causes tsaras, even in someone as holy as Miriam, why don't we get tsaras? We're always talking badly about people. So if lashon hara, bad speech, causes this kind of symptom, we don't hear of anybody these days, and for the longest time, we don't know of anybody who came down with this kind of symptom as a result of speaking badly of people. Here's the Rebbe's insight into this whole subject. What is so terrible about speaking badly of people? Well, it's a character flaw. If you're speaking bad about other people, you're trying to put other people down so that you can feel superior. You have jealousy, you have greed, you have hatred, which is what causes you to speak badly about people. So the engaging in that kind of talk reveals a great character flaw. You want to elevate yourself at the expense of others. Nasty. Right? But here, with this leprosy thing, it seems like the entire emphasis is on the speech, not the character behind it. In fact, as the Rebbe explains it, if you really have bad character and you're talking badly about people because you're a nasty person, you won't get leprosy. You won't. It's almost like you don't even deserve leprosy. You don't deserve these spots on your skin that tell you that you're speaking badly. Because it's not your speech that is evil, it's you internally. So here's the thing. The spot, these blemishes, whether it's on the house or on your garment or on your skin, it's on the surface. It's a skin condition. It's a surface condition. Why is that your punishment or the consequence of bad speech? Because your bad speech is external and superficial. You're not expressing a bad character trait. You're a good person, you're a kind person, you're a generous person, but you're not speaking properly. The only thing wrong is the speech. And that's why the result is a blemish on the outside. Even there, the Torah says first that there is a blemish on your house. So when you speak inappropriately, external, what is wrong with the speech is purely the speech and not the character behind it. So the symptom will show up in the walls of your house, which are very removed from you. Totally external. If you continue to speak poorly or inappropriately, then the blemish will move a little closer. It'll happen to your garments. And if you continue after that, then it will affect your skin, which is, of course, the closest to you, but still the external part of you. Which also explains how is it possible that Miriam actually spoke badly of her brother. The brother she risked her life for. The brother she helped raise. And in general, Miriam was a prophet, a prophetess. How could she possibly engage in bad talk? So now we understand. She got leprosy, which means there was nothing wrong with her character. There was no evil intent. There was no jealousy. There was no hatred. There was no greed. There was nothing negative behind the words, but the words themselves were not good. Well, what does that mean? Let's read it from the Rambam. In the text itself, it says, when a person, Adam, has a blemish, and that immediately raises a question. You're starting off saying this is a person, this is an Adam, which is complementary. It's almost like saying when a great guy finds blemishes on his skin, and then you tell me that the blemish comes from being nasty and talking nasty about people, then why did you introduce him as a really nice guy? Well, that tips you off that maybe we're talking about a different kind of evil talk. There's nothing wrong with the guy. There's something wrong with the talk. So here's what Rambam says. Here he says like this, certainly an inference can be made from the incident concerning Miriam, where she came down with leprosy, with regards to the wicked and foolish men who speak extensively, exaggerating and overstating. This is the way of wicked fools in their gatherings. Listen to this development. In the beginning, they speak excessively and about matters that are empty of content. This results in their speaking negatively about the righteous people. As a consequence, they become accustomed to speaking against the prophets and become cynical about their words, which eventually leads them to speak negatively about God and even deny his existence. This is the conversation of the wicked that is caused by loitering on the street corners, frequenting the assemblies of commoners, and spending time at drunk parties. By contrast, the conversation of upright people only concerns words of Torah, wisdom, and therefore the Holy One, blessed be He, assists them and grants them merit because of it. What are we seeing here? The speech of the wicked begins with silly talk, not evil talk, not evil intentions. In other words, there's nothing wrong with the person internally. But the talk is silly. It's empty of content. You might say, talk for the sake of talk. Like people often say, hey, we were just talking. I just happened to say. We were just having a conversation. Don't take it so seriously, right? In other words, we were talking for the sake of talking. We weren't really expressing anything, not an opinion and not an emotion. It was just talk. This is called Lashon Hara. This brings leprosy. Because look at what the Rambam says. It starts off completely innocent. It's just talk. It's just words that are not meant to hurt, not meant to be hurtful, but it deteriorates. When you get into the habit of talking talk, eventually you become cynical. You make a joke, everything becomes a joke. Now you're making fun of good people. You're making fun of their goodness. Come on, this is so common. All of a sudden, the good kids are the nerds. The kids who won't misbehave are the losers and the wimps. How did that happen? How is it you turn against goodness? Well, it doesn't start with that. It starts with careless talk. Talk for the sake of talk. And then it deteriorates. And from there, you become cynical of the righteous, of good people. Then you start to doubt even the prophets. And then you start to doubt God himself. And all of this comes from innocent, silly, harmless talk. People who are on a high spiritual level, when they say things that are not meaningful, they immediately get a reminder, like a wake-up call from heaven. They develop these blemishes because they are made of delicate stuff, these righteous people. And so even silly talk is inappropriate on their level. And because they deserve better, God rewards them with blemishes on their skin that is an indicator that they're stepping into something undesirable. As in the case with Miriam, what was she actually saying? When Moshe came down off the mountain, he was not intimate with his wife anymore. Miriam was critical of that. Miriam said, there are many holy people, godly people, but they engage in normal human activity. What's with Moshe? Why has he stopped being intimate with his wife? So first of all, this was not meant to hurt. She had no negative feelings about Moshe. On the contrary, she was concerned for his well-being. What happened to him? He's too holy for this world now? That's not good. So you can't call it evil talk in the sense of evil intention or bad character. There was no bad character. It was out of her holiness and concern for her brother that she said what she said. And on Moshe's part, being the most humble person that ever lived, he was not offended at all. He didn't see it as a criticism. He saw it as a wise older sister concerned for her brother's welfare. He was not offended at all. That's why she was worthy of this leprosy. We, on the other hand, when we speak badly about other people, it's not an external flaw. It's revealing an inner character that needs help. A blemish on the skin is not going to do it. Final thought is, these blemishes, whether they are pure or impure, can be decided only by the Kohen, by somebody who himself is completely pure, dedicated, devoted completely to the service of God. In other words, the person who has this blemish can't cure himself. He needs the help of a Kohen. He's got to find somebody holier than himself who can either declare him pure or show him how to become pure. And that's because the flaw is so subtle that the person himself might not notice and might not know what to do with it. I think the Rebbe once asked for a project. He said, please do this project. And I really need you to do it, because if you don't do it, then retroactively, it will mean that my speech was ineffective and it accomplished nothing, which is, in a sense, bad speech. Maybe not Lashon Hara, but Dvarim B'Telim. It's not evil talk, but it's vain talk, which is also not good. Because it turns out that they're pretty much the same thing. Evil talk, in this case, Lashon Hara, does not mean evil intention. It means the abuse of the gift of speech. The gift of speech was given to us to communicate effectively. When we communicate, but it has no effect, simply because the words are meaningless, or whatever other reason, that is the Lashon Hara that holy people would get leprosy for. Moral of the story: innocent, meaningless conversation is not so innocent. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal, it's questions and answers, it's conversation. It's really relaxed, it's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look, click the link below, and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.